What if one tiny mistake, just a few seconds on Instagram, could destroy a multi-million-dollar project and turn a beloved public figure into the laughingstock of the internet overnight? That's exactly what happened to Meghan Markle this holiday season, and the fallout has stunned both fans and critics alike. It began innocently enough, with a cheerful clip meant to showcase her Thanksgiving preparations. But what unfolded was nothing short of a viral catastrophe. One that would earn Meghan a nickname no PR team could have predicted: Salmonella Sussex. Picture this: Meghan, poised and polished as ever, standing in a gleaming kitchen. The camera is close, capturing every meticulous detail. She rubs lemon zest and spices into a raw turkey resting in a roasting pan, her bracelets and rings glinting under the bright lights. At first glance, it seems festive, relatable, charming even. But then viewers notice something. Her hands were adorned with jewelry as she handled raw poultry. A basic kitchen faux pas. A simple, preventable mistake. And yet, in the world of social media, where the tiniest misstep can be amplified 1,000-fold, this clip became an instant flashpoint. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Within hours, the backlash erupted. Comments flooded in. "So gross," one user wrote, "and it's basic food handling knowledge." Another added, "This is why celebrities should stick to what they're good at." Even those who tried to defend her were drowned out by the wave of outrage, criticism, and ridicule. The internet, relentless and unforgiving, had spoken. And in the court of public opinion, Meghan Markle had just been found guilty of negligence. Why does this matter? Because it's not just a turkey. It's not just about rings or raw poultry. It's about perception, brand image, and control, or rather, the lack thereof. Meghan Markle, the former Duchess of Sussex, has built a public persona carefully crafted over years. She is polished, articulate, socially conscious, and media-savvy. She is the face of Archewell, a lifestyle and philanthropic brand designed to showcase authenticity, compassion, and modern sophistication. Yet, one misstep in her own kitchen, something most people would consider minor, even forgivable, has threatened to undo months, if not years, of careful image management. And Netflix? They were watching. Behind closed doors, executives at the streaming giant were monitoring the situation with growing concern. With Love Meghan Holiday Celebration, the special that had been marketed as a feel-good, festive project was suddenly at risk. The budget, the advertising campaigns, the partnerships, all of it now hung in the balance. A clip that lasted barely 15 seconds had created a crisis capable of toppling an entire production. But here's the twist. Netflix didn't just delay the release. According to sources, they made the unprecedented decision to scrap the special entirely. Nothing aired. No festive holiday cheer. No warm, cozy moments in Meghan's kitchen. The company pulled the plug quietly, trying to avoid drawing further attention. But in the age of leaks, whispers spread fast. Social media caught wind, headlines exploded, and suddenly the story was everywhere. So why did this happen? Was it purely the turkey mishap? Or was there something deeper at play? Something about Meghan Markle, her brand, and the delicate balance of celebrity culture that made this a perfect storm? The answers are complicated, and they reveal a lot about the pressures of being a modern public figure. The expectations are nearly impossible. Relatable but perfect, down-to-earth but aspirational, authentic yet polished. One slip, one tiny oversight, can ignite a wildfire of criticism. Let's rewind for a moment. Thanksgiving in America is not just a holiday. It is a spectacle of domesticity, culinary prowess, and social media storytelling. Families post pictures, influencers share tutorials, brands push recipes and sponsorships. In this landscape, every gesture, every movement, every hand gesture is scrutinized. And Meghan, who has spent years navigating the intersection of royalty and celebrity, suddenly found herself in the middle of a storm she could neither predict nor control. The backlash was immediate and multifaceted. On Twitter, memes proliferated at lightning speed. The nickname Salmonella Sussex spread across platforms like wildfire. Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, every corner of the internet echoed the sentiment. But the humor was only part of the story. Beneath the jokes was genuine concern, criticism, and sometimes outright hostility. Critics argued that her lack of awareness about basic food safety reflected a broader disconnect from ordinary life. Fans wondered if this was a minor slip blown out of proportion. And Meghan herself? She was reportedly furious. Sources close to her describe a woman caught off guard, frustrated, and struggling to regain control of a narrative spinning far beyond her kitchen. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This wasn't just a social media problem. This was a corporate problem. Netflix had invested heavily in this special. The expectation was that it would draw millions of viewers, build engagement, and reinforce Meghan's image as an approachable, stylish, yet relatable figure. But when the clip went viral for the wrong reasons, it became a liability. Advertisers grew nervous. Executives worried about brand reputation. The holiday cheer they had hoped to broadcast suddenly became a PR nightmare. Sources tell us that inside Netflix, there were heated discussions. Some executives argued that a simple apology or edited version of the clip could mitigate the damage. Others disagreed, citing the viral nature of the hashtag, the global attention, and the risk of association with a food safety scandal. Ultimately, the decision was made to cancel the special entirely. It was a bold, unprecedented move. A rare instance of a platform scrapping content due to a viral misstep, particularly when the talent involved is someone as prominent as Meghan Markle. What made the situation more complex was Meghan's personal reaction. Insiders suggest she believed the backlash was exaggerated, fueled by jealousy, tabloid bias, and the harshness of social media culture. She reportedly argued with her team, insisting the video was relatable and harmless, and that the public would understand. Yet, even as she defended herself, the narrative had already taken on a life of its own. The nickname Salmonella Sussex was not going away, and neither was the scrutiny. And then there's the question of timing. This all occurred during the peak of the holiday season, when viewers are particularly attuned to festive content. The irony is palpable. A holiday special meant to evoke warmth, family, and joy instead became a story of embarrassment, public shaming, and corporate caution. It is a striking example of how quickly public perception can shift, especially in a hyper-connected digital world. So what can we learn from this? Beyond the humor and the memes, the story of Meghan Markle's Thanksgiving turkey incident exposes the fragility of modern celebrity. It shows how, in the age of social media, the smallest details are amplified, dissected, and judged. It highlights the tension between personal authenticity and public expectation. And, perhaps most importantly, it illustrates the extraordinary pressures faced by individuals who live their lives under a microscope, where every gesture can become a headline and every misstep a global talking point. But as shocking as all of this is, it is only the beginning. Because once Netflix intervened, once the decision to cancel the special was made, a new layer of the story emerged, one that no one anticipated. There were internal conflicts, unseen leaks, and dramatic reactions that escalated far beyond a kitchen misstep. Meghan's team scrambled to control the narrative, but the story had already taken on a life of its own. Social media wasn't just commenting, it was shaping, amplifying, and, in many ways, punishing. What if a 15-second clip could undo months of planning, thousands of marketing dollars, and years of careful public image management? That's exactly what happened to Meghan Markle, and it all started with a turkey. The video was simple. Meghan, cheerful and festive, prepared her Thanksgiving turkey in a bright, stylish kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the windows, and the gleaming countertops reflected the gold and silver jewelry she wore on her wrists and fingers. She rubbed lemon zest and spices into the raw bird, smiling as the camera captured every meticulous movement. The clip lasted barely 15 seconds, but in the digital age, seconds are all it takes to make or break a celebrity. At first glance, the video seemed harmless. It was relatable, warm, and perfectly in line with Meghan's lifestyle brand. But then viewers noticed the details that would turn this innocent clip into a viral scandal. She had not removed her rings or bracelets while handling the raw turkey. To most people, it might seem minor. To others, it was a glaring violation of basic food safety rules. Social media reacted instantly. The backlash was swift, harsh, and unrelenting. One of the first comments that went viral read, "So gross, and its basic food handling knowledge. Another user chimed in, "Imagine promoting yourself as a lifestyle influencer and making the simplest kitchen mistakes." Memes spread, mocking the contrast between her poised, polished persona and the sloppy, careless handling of the poultry. The nickname Salmonella Sussex went viral almost immediately, combining humor, outrage, and disbelief in a way only social media could achieve. But why did this minor kitchen blunder spark such an extreme reaction? The answer lies in perception, expectation, and the modern celebrity ecosystem. Meghan Markle has built a personal brand that thrives on relatability, sophistication, and authenticity. She is polished, articulate, and socially conscious, and she is the face of Archewell, a lifestyle and philanthropic brand designed to showcase compassion and approachability. Every public appearance, every social media post, every interview is carefully curated to maintain that image. A simple misstep in her own kitchen, something most people might overlook, threatened to undermine the carefully constructed persona she has cultivated for years. Social media amplified the incident, turning it into a global story within hours. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and Instagram exploded with commentary. Influencers dissected the clip frame by frame. Food safety experts weighed in, offering their opinions on hygiene, contamination risks, and proper cooking practices. News outlets picked up the story, framing it as another PR misstep for a public figure already under scrutiny. Within the span of a single day, Meghan Markle had gone from cheerful chef to the subject of worldwide ridicule. The timing of the clip made the backlash even more dramatic. Thanksgiving is one of the biggest social media moments in the United States. Influencers, chefs, and families alike showcase their culinary skills, share recipes, and post perfectly staged photos and videos. In this landscape, every action is scrutinized, every detail examined, and every slip-up has the potential to go viral. Meghan's video, meant to be festive and relatable, instead became a cautionary tale about the perils of celebrity visibility. Netflix was watching closely. The streaming platform had invested heavily in, with Love Meghan Holiday Celebration, a special intended to showcase Meghan's charm, warmth, and relatable personality. The plan was simple. Present Meghan as the embodiment of the modern, stylish American woman, capable of hosting, cooking, and entertaining in a way that felt approachable yet aspirational. But now, with the viral backlash surrounding the turkey clip, Netflix executives faced an unprecedented crisis. Advertisers worried about brand association. Marketing teams scrambled to revise messaging. Internal emails leaked, revealing tension and concern among the higher-ups. A holiday special meant to generate goodwill and engagement had suddenly become a liability. From Meghan's perspective, the situation was frustrating and bewildering. Sources close to her describe her as initially shocked by the intensity of the reaction. She believed the video was relatable and harmless, a small glimpse into her personal life intended to connect with her audience. Yet, in the court of public opinion, perception is reality. Social media and the press do not grant context, nuance, or intention. They only amplify what is visible. And what was visible in Meghan's kitchen that day was a woman handling raw poultry with jewelry on her hands. The nickname Salmonella Sussex became the lightning rod for criticism, blending humor with condemnation. It spread across platforms like wildfire, appearing in memes, tweets, and comment threads. Every time it appeared, it reinforced the narrative. Meghan, despite her intelligence, charm, and sophistication, had made a careless mistake that anyone could see. But unlike the average person, Meghan's visibility and influence magnified the error exponentially. This incident also highlights the double standards of celebrity scrutiny. Ordinary individuals make mistakes in their kitchens all the time, yet few are subjected to global ridicule. Celebrities, especially those with meticulously curated brands like Meghan Markle, face expectations that their every action be exemplary. Authenticity is celebrated, but only within a narrow range of acceptable behavior. Step outside that range, even by a few inches, and the consequences are swift and severe. What makes this story even more compelling is the tension between intention and perception. Meghan intended to appear approachable, to share a moment of domestic warmth with her audience. Instead, The public perceived carelessness, a lack of hygiene, and a disconnect from everyday reality. The emotional impact of this misalignment cannot be overstated. It is a reminder that in the age of hypervisibility, intention alone is not enough. Perception shapes reality, and reality can turn against you in an instant. And then there is Netflix. Once the clip went viral, the platform faced a dilemma. How do you protect a billion-dollar brand while managing a celebrity misstep? The solution, insiders reveal, was dramatic. Cancel the special entirely. Nothing aired. The footage was shelved. Promotional campaigns were halted. It was an unprecedented move, a stark illustration of how a brief, seemingly innocuous moment can derail months of planning and millions of dollars in investment. Meanwhile, Meghan's response was a mix of frustration and disbelief. Sources say she argued with her team, insisting that the backlash was disproportionate, fueled by jealousy, biased media coverage, and social media hysteria. She believed the video was harmless, a genuine attempt to engage with her audience, and she could not understand why the internet had decided to punish her so mercilessly. But her perspective did not change public opinion. The nickname persisted, the criticism continued, and the story only grew. At its core, this Salmonella Sussex scandal exposes a truth about modern celebrity culture. Visibility is a double-edged sword. The same platforms that amplify your achievements will magnify your mistakes. Every gesture, every detail, every fleeting moment can become a headline, a meme, or a viral controversy. Meghan Markle, despite her intelligence, experience, and carefully managed brand, is not immune to these forces. And this Thanksgiving turkey incident is a case study in how quickly perception can spiral, influence corporate decisions, and redefine a public figure's narrative. So, why does this story matter beyond the viral clip? It is a reflection of our cultural obsession with perfection, visibility, and immediacy. It is a reminder that in the digital era, the smallest mistakes are never forgotten, and reputations can be reshaped in an instant. For Meghan Markle, a woman who has navigated intense public scrutiny for years, the incident underscores the precarious balance between authenticity and performance, between personal expression and public expectation. And yet, this is only the beginning. Because while the public focuses on the turkey, the rings, and the viral nickname, another story is unfolding behind the scenes, one involving corporate decision-making, leaked internal communications, and heated conflicts within Netflix. The cancellation of the special is not the end. It is the opening act of a drama that will continue to unfold, with far-reaching consequences for Meghan Markle's public image and her ongoing relationship with the media, fans, and corporate partners. What did viewers notice that Meghan didn't? Sometimes it's the smallest details that ignite the biggest controversies. In this case, it wasn't just the rings on her fingers or the bracelets on her wrists. The internet is a ruthless magnifier, and eagle-eyed viewers spotted subtle details in the background, in the way she handled the turkey, and in the production itself. Details that would transform a simple holiday clip into a global talking point. The first thing viewers fixated on was the jewelry. Rings and bracelets on raw poultry may seem trivial to some, but to food safety experts, it's a clear violation of hygiene protocol. Jewelry can harbor bacteria, trap raw juices, and transfer pathogens to other surfaces. Experts quickly took to social media to explain the risk, turning what might have been a small oversight into a full-blown food safety scandal. The hashtag Salmonella Sussex was born. It was clever, cutting, and utterly viral. Within hours, it had taken on a life of its own, appearing in tweets, Instagram memes, TikTok duets, and countless Reddit threads dissecting the footage frame by frame. But it wasn't just the jewelry. Some viewers scrutinized the kitchen setup itself. The countertops, while pristine, were revealed to have subtle smudges and splatters in the frame. The utensils, carefully staged, were arranged in ways that seemed unnatural, almost too perfect for a casual cooking segment. The lighting, intended to make the scene bright and festive, highlighted imperfections and magnified every movement. In short, the video, which was intended to convey warmth and approachability, inadvertently exposed small inconsistencies that fed into the narrative of carelessness and inauthenticity. Social media users were relentless. Memes portrayed Meghan as a kitchen hazard, photoshopping exaggeratedly large salmonella bacteria onto the turkey or transforming her jewelry into cartoon germs. Influencers created tutorials parodying her technique, while others posted side-by-side comparisons of proper food handling practices versus what they saw in the clip. The internet thrives on contrast, and Meghan's polished persona versus this kitchen fail created the perfect storm. Meanwhile, critics drew sharp comparisons between Meghan and other celebrities who have successfully navigated cooking segments. They highlighted her lack of basic hygiene knowledge and framed it as a symbol of being out of touch. Headlines appeared: "Royalty in the kitchen, when glamour meets raw poultry," and "Meghan Markle's turkey handling sparks food safety debate." Even those who admired her activism and public work could not escape the humor, criticism, and judgment attached to the video. But the irony of it all lies in intention versus perception. Meghan's goal was to show a human side, to connect with audiences over a shared holiday tradition. She wanted viewers to see her as relatable, approachable, someone who, despite fame and fortune, enjoys the simple pleasures of cooking a holiday meal. And yet, in a world where micro-details are scrutinized, that intention was lost. The camera captured every detail, magnified every movement, and broadcasted it to millions who were ready to critique, comment, and mock. The story becomes even more compelling when we examine the role of social media dynamics. Platforms like Twitter and TikTok are designed for rapid dissemination and amplification of content. A single post can reach millions within hours, and once a narrative is established, in this case, Meghan as Salmonella Sussex, it is almost impossible to reverse. Algorithms favor engagement, and outrage generates more engagement than praise. The more people reacted, the more the story spread, creating a feedback loop that drew more attention, more criticism, and more ridicule. Netflix was watching every move. Executives had planned a festive, heartwarming special to showcase Meghan's brand in a controlled, positive environment. They had imagined millions of viewers, high engagement, and a boost to both subscriber numbers and public goodwill. Instead, the viral backlash turned what should have been a soft, controlled promotional moment into a public relations disaster. Advertisers and partners began to question their involvement, wary of associating with a project that had suddenly become controversial. Internal communications reportedly revealed a sense of panic, a recognition that one clip had put a multi-million-dollar production at risk. From Meghan's perspective, the situation was bewildering and infuriating. Sources describe her as frustrated by the intensity of the reaction, incredulous that a brief, 15-second video could ignite such fury. She reportedly argued that the public would understand her intention, that it was a harmless moment of celebration, and that the attention to minor details was disproportionate. But in a media landscape that thrives on spectacle, nuance is often lost. The narrative quickly took hold. Meghan had made a mistake, and she was being called out in every corner of the internet. The nickname Salmonella Sussex became more than just a meme. It became a brand in itself. It spread like wildfire, creating a viral identity that Meghan could neither control nor easily undo. People joked about it in comments, created GIFs and TikTok duets, and even news outlets referenced it in articles. Suddenly, her carefully curated image was juxtaposed with a persona created entirely by the public. One that was mocking, humorous, and sharply critical. And yet, there was an underlying tension that made the story even more dramatic. The contrast between Meghan's carefully maintained brand and the viral perception of her in this moment. She is known for poise, intelligence, and media savvy. She has navigated intense public scrutiny, handled complex media narratives, and managed high-profile interviews. But a simple kitchen clip exposed a vulnerability she could not script or stage manage. The very thing intended to showcase relatability had instead amplified public criticism, creating a paradox. The pursuit of authenticity became a vulnerability in a world that judges perfection. What made this situation particularly dramatic was how quickly it escalated. Within hours, the video had sparked memes, jokes, and serious criticism. Within a day, Netflix executives were reportedly holding emergency meetings, trying to assess the potential fallout. Within 2 days, the company made the unprecedented decision to cancel the special entirely. This was not a small delay or minor editing change. This was a full-scale cancellation, an acknowledgement that the backlash had created a risk too great to ignore. Behind the scenes, sources describe a tense environment. Netflix executives debated whether the backlash could be managed with edited footage or an apology. Some argued that the viral nickname was harmless and would fade. Others insisted that associating the project with a viral food safety mishap could damage the platform's reputation and alienate advertisers. Ultimately, the decision was made to cancel the special entirely, a move that underscores just how powerful social media perception can be in the modern entertainment industry. At the same time, Meghan's response adds another layer of drama. Sources suggest that she was frustrated and disbelieving, arguing that the backlash was exaggerated, fueled by jealousy, and driven by social media hysteria. Yet no matter how strong her argument, the narrative had already taken on a life of its own. The nickname Salmonella Sussex persisted. Memes continued to circulate. Comment threads analyzed her every movement, and the story only grew. The chapter closes on a pivotal realization. What began as a 15-second clip in a kitchen had evolved into a complex drama involving social media dynamics, corporate decision-making, celebrity image management, and public perception. A simple act of preparing a holiday turkey had escalated into a global spectacle, impacting Meghan Markle's brand, Netflix's programming decisions, and the way the public perceives one of the most scrutinized figures of our time. But what came next would escalate the story even further. Because while the public laughed, critiqued, and mocked, there were internal battles brewing at Netflix. Executives were weighing next steps. Advertisers were voicing concern. And Meghan Markle herself was plotting her response, determined to regain control of a narrative that had spun far beyond her kitchen. What happens when a fleeting moment on Instagram threatens to topple a multi-million-dollar production? That is exactly what Netflix faced when Meghan Markle's Thanksgiving turkey clip went viral. Inside the streaming giant, executives were scrambling to understand the implications, and the situation was far more serious than a few mocking memes online. The project, with Love Meghan Holiday Celebration, had been months in the making. The idea was simple: create a festive, heartwarming special featuring Meghan Markle at her most relatable. From conceptualization to production, the show had everything calculated. A multi-camera setup in a professional studio kitchen, a team of stylists and production designers, and a carefully curated menu designed to appeal to viewers during the holiday season. Netflix envisioned millions of viewers tuning in, inspired by Meghan's charm and relatable domesticity. The first signs of trouble appeared almost immediately after the clip went live. Social media engagement exploded, but not in the way executives had hoped. Instead of comments about festive decorations or cooking tips, users were focused on her rings and bracelets. Within hours, the hashtag Salmonella Sussex was trending globally. Analysts monitoring the clip noted a spike in negative sentiment. Thousands of comments expressing disgust, incredulity, and ridicule. The backlash wasn't just confined to social media. Journalists and tabloids quickly picked up the story, framing it as another misstep in Meghan's highly publicized post-royal life. Inside Netflix, the reaction was intense. The team responsible for talent management and brand partnerships convened emergency meetings. Emails and internal memos circulated with alarming subject lines: urgent, Meghan Holiday special PR crisis, potential brand risk, and immediate assessment required. Executives understood that the combination of viral ridicule and the nickname spreading like wildfire could tarnish the special's appeal. Advertisers were already reaching out, questioning whether their brand could safely be associated with a project now tied to a viral kitchen mishap. The decision-makers faced a dilemma. On one hand, canceling the special outright was drastic, unprecedented, and could alienate Meghan Markle herself. On the other hand, proceeding risked further backlash, negative press coverage, and damage to Netflix's carefully cultivated reputation as a platform for high-quality, family-friendly content. Every option carried consequences, and time was of the essence. The clip was spreading by the minute, and global attention was mounting. Meghan's team, unaware of the scale of internal debate, initially tried to manage the situation from the public-facing side. A follow-up post was prepared, emphasizing proper hand-washing, promoting safe cooking practices, and highlighting the joyous Thanksgiving atmosphere. Yet, even as the team worked to contain the damage, the viral momentum continued. Social media doesn't wait for PR statements. It doesn't pause for explanations. It amplifies. And in this case, it amplified relentlessly. It's important to note the contrast between intention and outcome. Meghan Markle's goal had been to connect with her audience in a human, relatable way. She wanted to show viewers that even someone in the public eye, someone with access to fame and privilege, could enjoy the same holiday rituals as everyone else. She was attempting to blend authenticity with elegance. But in a hypervisual world, where every detail is dissected, one small error, jewelry on hands touching raw poultry, overshadowed every positive aspect of the video. The internal tension at Netflix grew. Sources describe heated debates among executives. Some argued that editing the footage could salvage the special, cropping out or reshooting problematic shots. Others believed that the viral nature of the nickname and the backlash was beyond mitigation. Once the internet labels you, one executive allegedly said, there's no turning back. The fear wasn't just about social media mockery. It was about the potential for diminished viewership, the reaction of advertisers, and the possibility that other talent might question Netflix's ability to protect their image. Meanwhile, the media frenzy only intensified. Headlines around the globe read variations of Meghan Markle's turkey blunder sparks social media fury, and Salmonella Sussex goes viral. Former Duchess kitchen mishap angers fans. Opinion pieces dissected the clip from every angle. Her jewelry, her technique, her lack of gloves, and even the lighting and angles used in the production. Every frame was scrutinized, every decision criticized. What was intended to be a small, relatable moment had become a full-scale public spectacle. Meghan herself reportedly felt blindsided. Sources say she was frustrated not only by the intensity of the reaction, but by the fact that her intentions were being completely misinterpreted. She believed viewers would recognize the warmth, the holiday spirit, and the authenticity she tried to convey. But authenticity, as Meghan would soon realize, is a double-edged sword. If it is imperfect, unpolished, or misaligned with audience expectations, it can become fodder for ridicule. The nickname Salmonella Sussex illustrates this perfectly. It was humorous, sharp, and easily digestible for the public. It turned a minor mistake into a viral identity that Meghan could neither ignore nor control. Every new meme, every tweet, every TikTok remix reinforced the narrative. The longer the nickname trended, the harder it became to separate the celebrity from the controversy. In a digital world where perception often equals reality, Meghan Markle had unwittingly become Salmonella Sussex to millions. But the situation was about to get even more complex. The viral backlash prompted an internal crisis at Netflix that extended far beyond social media metrics. Executives began evaluating the potential financial consequences. Advertising partnerships, brand collaborations, and projected viewership numbers were all at risk. Internal reports suggested that some advertisers threatened to withdraw support entirely if the association with Meghan Markle's special continued. The company was now facing a multifaceted problem. A celebrity under scrutiny, a production at risk, and financial exposure that could not be ignored. At the same time, Meghan's team scrambled to strategize. They debated whether to release a formal apology, edit the footage, or lean into the controversy with a clever marketing angle. All options carried risk. A misjudged apology could fuel further criticism. Edited footage could be perceived as dishonest. Leaning into the nickname could backfire and alienate sponsors. Every move had to be weighed against the potential for audience backlash and corporate risk. And then there was the public reaction. Social media users were relentless in their commentary. Some praised the humor, others criticized her hygiene, and still others mocked the contrast between her polished public persona and what they saw as a careless cooking attempt. Across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, users created duets, reaction videos, and memes, each one amplifying the nickname Salmonella Sussex. It became impossible for Meghan or Netflix to contain the narrative. Every passing hour reinforced the viral perception, solidifying it in the public consciousness. The culmination of these pressures, social media virality, advertiser concern, media scrutiny, and executive panic, ultimately led to an unprecedented decision. Netflix made the difficult choice to cancel the special entirely. This was not a minor adjustment or delay. The special, which had been carefully produced over months, was shelved indefinitely. Promotional campaigns were halted. Marketing materials were pulled. It was a bold, dramatic move, underscoring the power of viral perception in today's digital world. At the heart of this chaos was Meghan Markle. Sources describe her as frustrated, incredulous, and increasingly isolated as the backlash unfolded. She argued with her team, insisting that the video was harmless, that the public would understand, and that the viral nickname was unfair. Yet, the narrative had taken on a life of its own. Salmonella Sussex persisted across platforms. Memes continued to circulate. Headlines continued to appear. And while Meghan tried to manage the story, the reality was that she no longer controlled it. By the end of the week, it became clear what began as a simple holiday cooking clip had escalated into a global spectacle, involving social media dynamics, corporate decision-making, celebrity brand management, and public perception. The turkey incident was no longer just a minor misstep. It had become a case study in modern celebrity vulnerability, digital virality, and the precarious balance between authenticity and public expectation. But while the public focused on the humor, the memes, and the nickname, a deeper story was unfolding behind the scenes. Netflix executives were weighing the fallout, advertisers were voicing concerns, and Meghan's team was plotting a response. The fallout from Meghan Markle's Thanksgiving turkey video wasn't just immediate, it was merciless. Within hours of the clip going viral, the nickname Salmonella Sussex had become the dominant narrative. Social media platforms exploded with reactions, memes, and parodies. Twitter users posted side-by-side comparisons of proper food safety versus Meghan's kitchen handling. TikTok creators recreated the scene, exaggerating her gestures for comedic effect. Instagram comment sections became battlegrounds, filled with ridicule, judgment, and incredulous reactions. The internet had claimed her, and it was unforgiving. But what the public didn't see was the internal chaos unfolding at Netflix. The streaming giant had invested heavily in the With Love Meghan holiday celebration special. Months of planning, production budgets, styling, camera work, and editing had culminated in a show meant to showcase Meghan as relatable, warm, and festive. Now, executives faced a nightmare, a project that could no longer be safely associated with the brand. Emails flew across departments with subject lines like PR emergency, Meghan Markle viral crisis, brand risk alert, and immediate action required. Advertisers were calling, partners were worried, and social media was spreading the controversy faster than any crisis team could respond. Inside Netflix, the discussions were intense. Some executives argued that the backlash was temporary, fueled by the fleeting nature of viral content. They suggested releasing the special as planned, perhaps with minor edits or disclaimers emphasizing safety practices. Others disagreed vehemently. They pointed out that the nickname Salmonella Sussex had already cemented itself in popular culture. No amount of editing could erase the association now. Every moment that passed increased the risk of public derision, loss of advertising partnerships, and potential damage to Netflix's reputation as a premium streaming platform. Meanwhile, Meghan's team was navigating a parallel crisis. Sources close to her describe a mix of disbelief, frustration, and urgency. Meghan reportedly felt blindsided by the intensity of the reaction. She had intended to share a relatable, festive moment, a simple cooking tutorial showing her preparing a Thanksgiving meal. But the public had seized on every detail, her rings, her bracelets, her technique. She argued to her team that the backlash was disproportionate and that viewers would understand her intentions. Yet, the narrative had taken on a life of its own, independent of her control. The nickname Salmonella Sussex wasn't just humorous, it was viral branding. It spread across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit, creating a feedback loop that reinforced public scrutiny. Every meme, every parody, every reaction video amplified the story. What began as a minor oversight in a 15-second video now defined her public image in the eyes of millions. In the digital age, perception often becomes reality, and Meghan was confronting the consequences of a viral identity she could neither control nor ignore. At the heart of the crisis was a lesson about visibility, scrutiny, and the expectations placed on public figures. Meghan Markle, despite her intelligence, experience, and careful brand management, had stepped into a digital arena where perfection is demanded, authenticity is scrutinized, and minor missteps are amplified. The video was intended to humanize her, to showcase warmth and relatability. Instead, it revealed vulnerabilities, contradictions, and the unforgiving nature of online judgment. The situation escalated when internal Netflix discussions reached a critical point. Executives debated whether to pull the special entirely or attempt to salvage it through edits and PR management. One faction argued that a minor apology or an edited version could mitigate the fallout. Another faction warned that the viral nature of the nickname and the global attention surrounding it made mitigation impossible. The risk of airing the special, they argued, could outweigh any potential benefits. Ultimately, the decision was made. The special would be canceled entirely. Months of production, millions of dollars, and strategic planning were shelved in response to a single viral clip. Meghan's response to the cancellation reportedly intensified the drama. Sources suggest she felt blindsided and frustrated, believing that the backlash was overblown and fueled by media bias and social media hysteria. She reportedly argued with her team, insisting that the video was harmless and that the public would understand her intention. However, her efforts to regain control of the narrative were complicated by the viral momentum. Once a nickname like Salmonella Sussex takes hold, it is nearly impossible to reverse. As the media coverage continued, the public's fascination with the story grew. News outlets around the world published articles dissecting the clip, analyzing her technique, and commenting on her public image. Headlines ranged from humorous to critical. Meghan Markle's turkey blunder sparks food safety debate to Salmonella Sussex, when royalty meets raw poultry. Opinion pieces explored the tension between celebrity authenticity and public expectation, highlighting how minor mistakes can escalate into global controversies in the digital age. The cultural implications of the incident were significant. Meghan Markle's brand had always balanced approachability with sophistication, relatability with celebrity. The turkey video disrupted that balance, revealing the fragility of carefully curated public personas in the face of viral scrutiny. The situation exemplified the challenges faced by public figures in the modern digital landscape. Every action is amplified, every misstep dissected, and every detail subjected to relentless judgment. Beyond the humor and memes, the incident underscores the power of social media in shaping public perception. A brief clip, barely 15 seconds long, became a global talking point because it was visually accessible, easy to mock, and ripe for viral commentary. The nickname Salmonella Sussex captured attention precisely because it was concise, humorous, and critical all at once. In a world where engagement metrics drive narrative amplification, the incident demonstrates how minor errors can escalate into major reputational crises. But the drama didn't stop with public reaction. Behind closed doors, Netflix executives faced mounting pressure. Advertisers voiced concern about associating with the special. Internal communications revealed tension between departments over the appropriate course of action. Some argued that the viral backlash could be leveraged creatively, while others warned that continuing with the special would expose the company to further criticism. Ultimately, the weight of the public narrative, amplified by memes, news coverage, and social media commentary, dictated the decision to cancel the special entirely. For Meghan Markle, the consequences extended beyond the canceled special. The nickname Salmonella Sussex persisted, shaping public perception and challenging her carefully managed brand. Sources describe her frustration at losing control of a narrative she had hoped to shape positively. The irony was sharp. A project designed to humanize her and showcase her warmth had instead amplified criticism, ridicule, and scrutiny. As this chapter of the saga closes, one thing is clear. What began as a simple holiday cooking video had evolved into a complex drama involving social media, corporate decision-making, celebrity image management, and public perception. The cancellation of the Netflix special marked a turning point, revealing the precarious balance between intention and perception, authenticity and scrutiny, celebrity and public expectation. And yet, this was only the beginning. Because while the public focused on memes, jokes, and the viral nickname, another, even more dramatic story was unfolding behind the scenes. Executives, advertisers, and Meghan's team were maneuvering in ways that would set the stage for a showdown no one expected. One that would push the story beyond the kitchen, beyond social media, and into the realm of corporate strategy, personal reputation, and high-stakes negotiation. The Thanksgiving turkey clip may have been brief, but its ripple effect was anything but. By now, the nickname Salmonella Sussex had cemented itself into internet culture, becoming a symbol of celebrity vulnerability, social media power, and public scrutiny gone viral. Memes circulated on every platform, late-night hosts referenced it on air, and commentators dissected Meghan's every move. What was intended as a festive, heartwarming display had become an unexpected cultural phenomenon. Inside Netflix, the story was no less dramatic. In fact, it was more intense behind closed doors. The executives tasked with brand protection, content strategy, and talent relations were navigating uncharted territory. This was not a standard PR crisis. They were dealing with a viral social media identity that directly contradicted the polished, controlled image they had built for the special. It was unpredictable, uncontrollable, and spreading faster than any response could counteract. Every decision carried immense risk. The first major internal conflict emerged around whether to issue a statement addressing the viral backlash. Some executives argued that acknowledging the nickname would only fuel its spread, legitimizing the ridicule and keeping the conversation alive. Others felt that silence would appear dismissive, suggesting that Netflix and Meghan were indifferent to public concern, a perception that could damage both reputation and audience trust. Tension in the conference rooms reached new heights as departments debated strategy, brand risk, and audience psychology. Every email, every message, every phone call reflected a sense of urgency bordering on panic. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle herself was under immense pressure. Sources describe her as frustrated, bewildered, and increasingly anxious. The viral nature of the nickname, combined with media coverage and relentless social media scrutiny, created a feeling of being trapped in a story she couldn't control. She had intended to share a festive, relatable moment. Now, that same moment had transformed into a cautionary tale, illustrating the perils of celebrity visibility in a hyper-connected world. The irony of the situation was striking. Meghan had built her personal brand on authenticity, relatability, and social consciousness. She cultivated an image of approachability, warmth, and modern elegance. Yet, the very qualities she sought to emphasize were overshadowed by a minor oversight in food handling, jewelry on raw poultry. In the digital age, perception often eclipses intention, and a 15-second clip was now defining her public persona in the eyes of millions. As the backlash escalated, Netflix executives faced mounting pressure from multiple fronts. Advertisers expressed concern about brand association, noting that tying their products to a viral nickname and widespread ridicule could have negative consequences. Internal teams debated whether editing the special could salvage it, reshooting scenes, or cropping the controversial segment. Others argued that no amount of editing could erase the narrative, which had already taken root in public consciousness. Each option carried risk, and time was running out. During this period, leaked internal communications began to circulate, adding fuel to the fire. Emails and memos revealed the extent of the debate within Netflix, highlighting conflicting opinions, frustration, and strategic tension. Some executives suggested leaning into the controversy with humor or self-awareness, framing the nickname as a playful acknowledgement of the viral moment. Others viewed this as a high-stakes gamble that could alienate audiences, advertisers, and partners. The stakes had escalated beyond mere social media ridicule. The company's reputation, financial interests, and strategic planning were now at risk. As the internal drama unfolded, the public narrative continued to spiral. Social media users dissected every element of the clip, the placement of utensils, the angle of the camera, the lighting, even the background decor. Memes transformed the video into exaggerated parodies, some showing Meghan as a literal salmonella-bearing threat, others satirizing the discrepancy between her elegance and the messy reality of cooking. Comment sections became forums for humor, judgment, and moral policing. It was a relentless feedback loop. The more people engaged, the faster the story spread. The nickname Salmonella Sussex also revealed a deeper societal phenomenon: the power of collective judgment in the digital age. Audiences are no longer passive consumers of media. They are active participants, capable of shaping narratives, influencing corporate decisions, and even rewriting a public figure's image overnight. What might have been a minor, forgettable misstep in a pre-digital era became a viral crisis precisely because audiences could react, share, and amplify in real time. Behind the scenes, the pressure on Meghan's team was immense. They debated whether to issue a formal apology, provide educational context about food safety, or allow the controversy to die down naturally. Each strategy had potential consequences. A public apology might validate the ridicule, while ignoring the backlash could prolong it. Providing educational context risked being perceived as defensive or patronizing. No decision felt safe, no outcome predictable. The viral momentum had created a scenario where any action could backfire. Meanwhile, Netflix had reached a pivotal decision point. Internal meetings culminated in a dramatic announcement. The holiday special would be canceled entirely. Months of production, careful planning, and significant financial investment were shelved. Marketing campaigns were halted. Promotional content was pulled. The decision reflected the unprecedented nature of the crisis. A 15-second video, amplified by social media, had disrupted a multi-million-dollar production, influencing corporate strategy, advertiser relationships, and brand reputation. For Meghan, the cancellation was a blow on multiple levels. Beyond the lost opportunity to connect with audiences, it reinforced the uncontrollable nature of the narrative that had enveloped her. Salmonella Sussex was no longer a fleeting meme. It was a viral identity she could not escape. Every day, she faced renewed attention, commentary, and ridicule, further solidifying the nickname in public consciousness. The situation was a stark reminder that even the most polished, strategic public personas are vulnerable to the unpredictable forces of digital media. The fallout extended beyond social media and corporate decisions. Cultural commentators began analyzing the incident as a reflection of broader societal dynamics. The heightened scrutiny of female public figures, the relentless pressure for perfection, and the ways in which minor missteps are amplified into viral crises. Meghan's experience became a case study in the precarious balance between authenticity and public expectation, illustrating how easily the digital ecosystem can magnify errors into defining moments. As this chapter draws to a close, it becomes clear that the Thanksgiving turkey incident was more than a simple viral mishap. It was a catalyst, exposing vulnerabilities in celebrity branding, corporate strategy, and digital culture. The nickname Salmonella Sussex was both humorous and devastating, highlighting the power of collective attention in shaping narratives and influencing decisions. Netflix's cancellation of the special underscored the tangible consequences of viral scrutiny, while Meghan Markle's personal and professional stakes remained high. But while the public focused on humor, ridicule, and memes, a more dramatic story was unfolding behind the scenes. Corporate tension, internal strategy debates, and personal frustration were converging to create a situation that had the potential to escalate far beyond social media. The next revelation would expose deeper conflicts, unexpected decisions, and consequences that no one could have anticipated, setting the stage for a series of events that would change everything. By now, the nickname Salmonella Sussex was no longer just a social media joke. It had evolved into a full-blown public narrative, shaping perception, influencing corporate decisions, and forcing Meghan Markle into a position she hadn't anticipated. The viral moment had transformed from a minor kitchen mishap into a multifaceted crisis, exposing vulnerabilities in celebrity branding, digital culture, and the intricate web of media influence. Behind the scenes at Netflix, the internal battle intensified. Executives were weighing options, assessing financial implications, and confronting an unprecedented dilemma: how to manage a celebrity-led project when public perception had turned dramatically negative. The decision to cancel the special was not taken lightly. Months of planning, millions in production costs, and a carefully crafted marketing strategy were now effectively written off. But the viral momentum of the nickname, amplified by memes, news coverage, and relentless social media commentary, had made the risk too high to proceed. Reports indicate that some Netflix executives felt trapped. One senior content strategist reportedly said, "It's a perfect storm. Public perception, viral ridicule, advertiser concern. It's more than just a PR problem. It's a full-scale operational crisis." Discussions around salvaging the project, reshooting segments, or issuing clarifying statements were met with skepticism. The consensus was clear. The narrative had grown beyond control, and any attempt to contain it risked further escalation. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle faced intense personal scrutiny. Sources describe her as frustrated, incredulous, and increasingly isolated as the viral nickname, Salmonella Sussex, spread. The public's reaction, while often humorous, highlighted a deeper tension. The contrast between her carefully curated public persona and the perception created by a 15-second clip. Meghan had intended to show warmth, approachability, and holiday cheer. Instead, she was being defined by an unexpected, uncontrollable meme, a digital caricature that reduced her complexity to a single, humorous narrative. The cultural impact of the incident was profound. Commentators noted that the viral moment reflected a broader societal phenomenon: the heightened scrutiny faced by female public figures, the relentless demand for perfection, and the rapid amplification of errors in the digital age. Meghan's experience became a lens through which to examine modern celebrity culture, social media dynamics, and the challenges of navigating public perception in an era where a single misstep can dominate global discourse. At the same time, the story highlighted the power of collective judgment in shaping narratives. Social media users, journalists, and influencers had collectively constructed the identity of Salmonella Sussex, demonstrating how public opinion can crystallize into a seemingly immutable narrative. Every meme, parody, and reaction video reinforced the nickname, creating a feedback loop that left little room for nuance, context, or correction. In the digital era, narrative control is not solely in the hands of celebrities or corporations. It is co-created by the audience, and sometimes that audience can be unforgiving. For Netflix, the incident revealed vulnerabilities in risk management and crisis response. Internal communications, later leaked in part, highlighted conflicting opinions on how to proceed. Some executives suggested leveraging the viral moment with humor, framing it as playful self-awareness. Others argued that acknowledging the nickname would legitimize the ridicule and prolong the controversy. The stakes were high. A misstep could alienate viewers, advertisers, and partners, while inaction risked the story dominating public discourse indefinitely. Meghan's team faced a parallel challenge: how to navigate the personal and professional fallout of a viral incident. Options included issuing a public statement, providing educational context about food safety, or attempting to shift attention to other aspects of the holiday special. Each strategy carried inherent risks. A statement could be perceived as defensive or insincere. Educational content could seem patronizing or miss the mark entirely. And attempting to redirect attention might simply prolong the viral narrative. The team was caught between controlling the story and mitigating further damage, with no clear path to resolution. The incident also underscored the tension between authenticity and perfection in celebrity culture. Meghan's intent had been genuine, to showcase a relatable, festive moment. Yet, the scrutiny of digital audiences amplified the smallest imperfections, creating a narrative that overshadowed intention. The nickname Salmonella Sussex crystallized the public's perception, reducing a complex individual to a humorous, viral identity. In this environment, authenticity can be a double-edged sword. It humanizes, but it also exposes vulnerabilities that can be exploited, exaggerated, and magnified. As the story unfolded, social media continued to amplify the narrative. Memes, reaction videos, and comment threads proliferated, each iteration reinforcing the nickname and the associated ridicule. Platforms like TikTok and Twitter played a crucial role, transforming a minor kitchen error into a global spectacle. The viral nature of the content created a sense of urgency and inevitability. Once a narrative takes hold in the digital ecosystem, reversing it becomes nearly impossible. Netflix's cancellation of the holiday special represented a rare, high-stakes acknowledgement of social media power. The decision was not merely about humor or public perception. It reflected the tangible consequences of digital virality, advertiser risk, and audience engagement metrics. Months of investment, planning, and creative effort were sacrificed to mitigate a narrative that had spiraled beyond control. It was a testament to the profound influence of online culture in shaping corporate strategy and media production decisions. For Meghan Markle, the personal impact was significant. The viral nickname challenged her carefully managed brand, creating tension between intention and public perception. Every day, she faced renewed attention, commentary, and scrutiny, reinforcing the digital identity constructed by millions of users. The experience illustrated the vulnerability inherent in public life, that even a well-crafted, thoughtful attempt at relatability can be reframed, reinterpreted, and transformed into a global phenomenon with unintended consequences. Yet, despite the chaos, the story was far from over. Behind closed doors, strategic discussions continued at Netflix. Advertisers weighed their options, and Meghan's team explored potential responses. The situation was evolving, dynamic, and unpredictable. The nickname Salmonella Sussex had become a symbol not just of a kitchen mishap, but of the power of digital culture to influence, disrupt, and redefine celebrity narratives. As this chapter closes, the stakes are clear. The viral incident has created a scenario where perception dominates reality, authenticity exposes vulnerability, and digital amplification transforms minor errors into major crises. Netflix's canceled special, Meghan's viral nickname, and the relentless scrutiny of social media audiences are now intertwined, creating a complex, high-pressure environment with no easy resolution. But while the public continues to consume memes, commentary, and viral content, an even deeper story is unfolding behind the scenes. Executive strategies, leaked communications, and internal conflicts hint at a series of revelations that could escalate the drama beyond social media into corporate boardrooms and personal confrontations. By now, the Salmonella Sussex incident had transcended mere social media virality. It had become a full-blown cultural event, one that dominated headlines, late-night monologues, and online discussion forums worldwide. But behind the public humor and mockery, a far more complex drama was unfolding. A drama involving corporate strategy, brand protection, and the human consequences of a digital wildfire. Inside Netflix, tensions reached a breaking point. The cancellation of With Love Meghan holiday celebration was unprecedented, and the internal debate over next steps was fierce. Executives grappled with questions that had no easy answers. How could they mitigate the fallout without further inflaming public opinion? Could the special ever be salvaged, or had viral perception permanently tainted it? And what would this mean for future projects involving high-profile talent with unpredictable public personas? One faction of executives argued for complete transparency. They suggested issuing a public statement explaining the cancellation, emphasizing food safety, and acknowledging the viral nickname in a self-aware, humorous way. This strategy, they argued, could humanize the company, show accountability, and potentially regain control over the narrative. Others countered fiercely. They warned that any public acknowledgement would only legitimize the ridicule, prolonging the story and entrenching the nickname further into popular culture. Once a meme is born, one executive reportedly said, "You don't get to kill it. You can only ride it or get run over." Meanwhile, Meghan Markle's team faced a parallel crisis. Sources describe her as frustrated, exhausted, and increasingly concerned about her public image. She reportedly felt blindsided by the intensity of the backlash and the speed at which it had escalated. Her intent, to share a relatable, festive moment, had been completely overshadowed by a viral nickname and a global conversation she could no longer influence. Every comment, every meme, every news article seemed to reinforce the public's perception, leaving her little room to shape the story. The irony of the situation was stark. Meghan had carefully cultivated a brand defined by authenticity, relatability, and sophistication. She had leveraged her public platform to advocate for causes, promote empowerment, and present herself as approachable. Yet, a minor oversight, wearing rings and bracelets while handling a raw turkey, had undermined that effort, creating a caricature that dominated public perception. It was a sobering reminder that in the digital age, even the most calculated public appearances are vulnerable to reinterpretation and ridicule. The media frenzy only heightened the stakes. Global outlets dissected every aspect of the clip: her jewelry, the way she handled the turkey, her expressions, and even the lighting in the kitchen. Opinion pieces debated the broader implications of the incident, with commentators analyzing the pressures faced by female public figures, the expectations of perfection, and the viral power of social media. What was initially a humorous moment had become a case study in celebrity vulnerability, media amplification, and public judgment. At the same time, Netflix executives faced growing pressure from advertisers. Concerns were raised about brand association, audience perception, and potential reputational damage. Some partners threatened to withdraw support if the special aired, citing the viral nickname and public ridicule as unacceptable risks. Internal communications revealed intense debates over financial implications, public relations strategy, and long-term consequences for the platform. The company was caught between supporting a high-profile talent and protecting its broader corporate interests. Amid this chaos, Meghan's team explored various strategies to reclaim control of the narrative. Options ranged from a formal apology to a humorous acknowledgement of the nickname, to educational content about food safety. Each choice carried inherent risks. A public apology might validate the ridicule, while a humorous acknowledgement could be misinterpreted as flippant or insincere. Educational content might appear defensive or miss the audience entirely. Every decision required careful calibration, yet the viral momentum made any strategy precarious. The incident also highlighted the contrast between intention and perception. Meghan had aimed to create a warm, relatable holiday experience for viewers. She wanted to connect authentically, to show that even someone in the public eye could engage in familiar, domestic rituals. Yet, public interpretation focused on a minor oversight, magnifying it into a viral spectacle. The nickname, Salmonella Sussex, symbolized the power of digital culture to redefine reality, demonstrating how perception often eclipses intention in shaping public narratives. The cultural implications were significant. Meghan's experience became a lens through which broader societal dynamics could be examined. The heightened scrutiny of female public figures, the relentless pursuit of perfection, and the amplification of minor errors in digital culture. Social media, with its immediacy, reach, and participatory nature, had transformed a brief, 15-second clip into a defining moment, illustrating how quickly narratives can spiral beyond control. As the viral story spread, public fascination intensified. Audiences dissected every frame, critiqued every gesture, and created countless iterations of the meme. TikTok users recreated the turkey scene with exaggerated flair, Instagram comment sections became battlegrounds for judgment and humor, and Twitter threads amassed thousands of reactions. Each iteration reinforced the nickname, embedding it deeper into popular culture and solidifying the narrative beyond the control of Meghan or Netflix. Behind the scenes, internal documents and communications, some leaked, revealed the extent of corporate anxiety. Executives debated, strategized, and calculated, trying to anticipate every possible reaction. Some advocated for transparency, humor, or self-awareness. Others prioritized risk mitigation, caution, and brand protection. Every option seemed fraught with potential backlash, and the pressure was relentless. The situation had evolved into a high-stakes game where public perception, corporate strategy, and celebrity image collided. The cancellation of the Netflix special underscored the tangible consequences of virality. Months of production, significant financial investment, and careful planning were sacrificed to avoid further reputational harm. What had begun as a 15-second Instagram clip had disrupted a multi-million-dollar project, demonstrating the extraordinary power of digital culture to influence corporate decisions. The decision reflected a sobering reality. In the modern media landscape, perception can outweigh intention, and viral moments can have far-reaching consequences. For Meghan Markle, the personal stakes were equally high. The viral nickname challenged her carefully managed public persona, creating tension between authenticity and perception. The ongoing attention, commentary, and scrutiny reinforced the identity constructed by millions online. What she had intended as a relatable, festive gesture had transformed into a defining public narrative, one that shaped audience perception, media framing, and even corporate decision-making. Yet, despite the chaos, the story was far from over. Behind closed doors, executives continued to strategize, advertisers continued to voice concern, and Meghan's team explored potential responses. The situation remained dynamic, unpredictable, and high-stakes. Salmonella Sussex had become more than a nickname. It had evolved into a phenomenon that intersected with culture, media, and commerce in ways few could have anticipated. As Chapter 6 closes, it is clear that the Thanksgiving turkey incident was not just a humorous misstep. It was a catalyst for a series of events that revealed vulnerabilities in celebrity branding, corporate strategy, and digital culture. Netflix's canceled special, the viral nickname, and Meghan's ongoing public scrutiny